Welcome back. My name is Candice Sanderson, and I thank you for joining me for the Master Weaver episode. This is the fourth installment in my mindfulness series. After publishing the first episode, I received a message from Vicki Acklin with Reality Unmasked. That's a wonderful educational website on spirituality. But Vicki received a message from one of my guides named Lyrielle. Since then, Lyrielle has been guiding me as I dissect her message paragraph by paragraph. If you're interested, you can read her full message in the episode description. A question comes to mind. Why did Lyrielle, my guide, need to come to a third party, Vicki, to give me a message? Good question, but obviously the answer is because I'm sure she came to me first, but when I did not hear her, thank goodness, she did not give up. Our angels and guides are like that. They can be as stubborn, or probably persistent is a better, more politically correct word to use, as we are. When I did not respond to Lyrielle's attempt to contact me, she changed her tactic and entered through a side door, Vicki. This is not the first time this has happened to me. A couple months ago, my friend Lauren shared a message for me from someone in spirit, someone known by thousands of people, Ruth Montgomery. Ruth Montgomery was the first author I had ever read on topics of spirituality. I was fascinated to hear the stories of her psychic abilities, including her channeling. Years ago, I remember how shocked I was when I discovered Ruth was living right next door to me in the very same condominium complex, but a different building. I had lived here for a few years, and I had no idea she was my neighbor. When I discovered that, I contacted Ruth, introduced myself, and then I met her in person. But how was I to know that she would reach out to me years later? Ruth reaching me in late October, and then a guide named Lyrielle in mid-December. Let these be reminders for all of us to be open and to listen to the guidance that does surround us. Guides and angels have important messages, but if we don't listen, they have workarounds. In today's episode, we're going to start with the third paragraph in Lyrielle's message. Let me share that first sentence with you. Your path continues to be one of weaving the seen and the unseen, grounding cosmic truths into the earthly plane. There's a lot of information in that one sentence, and it speaks not just to me, but to many others. This earth has light workers. There are many words for people who bridge and weave the 3D to the 5D, but light worker is such an appropriate title. As my messengers have told me for years, Earth is transitioning to higher vibrational frequencies. As this happens, the veil between the dimensions grows thinner. My messengers have referred to this veil as the veil of forgetfulness, and I talk about that in more detail in my books. Our true essence, of course, is non-physical, but it is also too great and too powerful to download into the density of this world of physicality. It would fry our circuits, like what happens when you plug in a device in the wrong socket, or we force the wrong cord into the device. When there is a voltage difference, that socket cannot handle the high current draw. So what happens? Chaos happens. Fuses blow, wires melt, sometimes fires erupt, machinery gets fried. Without the correct adapter or transformer to step down the energy, this voltage mismatch causes things to break, to not function as they were designed. You get the picture: disparity, incompatibility, misalignment. I think of this in terms of energy, frequencies, and vibrations. And the challenge is when we incarnate into Earth's 3D environment, our soul's essence needs a vessel, a proxy to download into. And this container, it's the human body. But because there is a voltage mismatch, because our true essence is too great for the stand in, our true self cannot fully transfer into this avatar. So only the basic elements make it here. Our soul's 3D proxy can only hold a primitive operating system, just enough for us to survive in the 3D. That is by design, but it also gives us an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity for growth. While in these avatars, we learn. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, we cannot recall the lesson plans we developed before we incarnated, because those memories are wiped from us when we cross that veil of forgetfulness. In fact, that veil works so well, we do not even know there is such a thing as a veil. Because after all, we think this is the life. We think we are our physical bodies. Don't get me wrong, our physical senses are wonderful for navigating this 3D world, but we think what they measure defines reality. Anything beyond that is obviously false, right? And if we think otherwise, then people would call for me, a psychologist, to help. My professional training to become a psychologist taught me that anything our senses could not measure could not be real. It was pathological. At best, it was a function of an overactive imagination. At worst, it was irrational, delusional, perhaps psychotic. But eventually, some of us realized the limitations of our senses. I understand this now, but I did not have the benefit of this larger perspective when I was in graduate school. Because we cannot easily see the larger picture, we do not even know that there is a larger picture. So we go about life, often learning lessons the hard way. We live through what is often a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we experience life as a school of hard knocks. We certainly do not learn from others, even when they share important and wise advice. If we did learn from others, then history would not repeat itself again and again as it is doing now. But what if I told you that all of that is about to change if we want it to change? What if I told you that things could be different? I'm talking about all those what ifs that run through our minds every day. What if we learned there's a whole new world just waiting for us to discover? What if we find an exit ramp, a bridge that takes us beyond the day-to-day hassles of 3D life? How do we do this? How do we awaken while also balancing our daily lives of going to work, being responsible for family, paying bills, and everything else that life demands. What if we found a way to reach into stillness and find peace without becoming a guru living in an ashram or withdrawing from life to go and live in a cave? No need to start searching for your passports. Instead, take a deep breath. Breathe in love and harmony. Allow those peaceful vibrations to settle around you, to soften the edges of this sometimes sharp world. Someone cuts you off in traffic? Don't react. Pause, then choose how to act. My friend Donna Rebido calls this the fundamental attribution error, where we attribute personality factors as being responsible for the behavior. Look at that jerk who's cutting me off in traffic. What a creep, or worse words. We also ignore the true context, and that's an important part of the fundamental attribution error. Granted, we do not always have that greater perspective, but just maybe the other people in the car that cut me off in traffic, maybe they're on their way for an emergency. A family member needs help. Perhaps this is an ER doctor and she's on her way to treat someone, and seconds matter. That's the context that we lack, the greater perspective through their eyes, the true reason why they cut us off in traffic. Although we are not all knowing or all seeing, sometimes just knowing that we do not know is all that we need to stop ourselves from those automatic responses of anger and frustration. Just being aware of that fundamental attribution error can give us that pause that we need to stop an automatic response. Traffic is horrendous. Why not take a breath and allow another driver into your lane? Why not show kindness instead of frustration? Why not bring all the chaos to a standstill? And like a master weaver working on a tapestry, pick and choose which threads you want to pull and which threads you want to release, knowing that you are weaving the tapestry of your life one thread at a time. Mindfulness, awareness. Oh, how powerful that awareness is. Be aware of this present moment. What are you feeling? Pay attention to these things without judging them. Just observe. If you observe that your attitude is less than desirable, like if you're in crazy traffic, then pause. Pausing interrupts that automatic reaction. And in that pause, smile. Smiling, whether you mean it or not, doesn't matter. The act of smiling releases a flood of endorphins from the brain that rush through your body to raise your vibrations. Deep, slow, relaxing breaths while smiling seems to work best for me. Use some of the psychic tools that we developed in the OBE series and the consciousness series. You can find those in the playlist tab on my YouTube homepage. Bring out the tools you've developed to raise your vibrations. When you begin to relax, your stress levels drop. Your blood pressure stabilizes. Your heart rate slows. Calmness settles around you. One thing I try to do is realize that I am in this situation, whatever that is, for a reason. I may not know why in real time, but eventually I hope to learn it. Until I find that gift tucked among the rubble and chaos of any given moment, I have a choice. Why stay in the muck and the swampy bog when I can rise above the pettiness? I put my attention on something positive. Once again, it's that power of awareness on where to put your attention and choosing what to focus on. It is the acting, not the reacting. As we engage our observer to take a temperature of our present moment, we distance ourselves from that automatic, negative, and sometimes hostile response. Our observer helps us to rise above, to find a different playing field. As more people awaken and, like me, become messengers, albeit reluctant, then a world of possibilities opens, awaiting for us to discover. Us as a group. Yes, a group. This is no longer a solo trek. It never was, although we might have felt that it was. But now the path becomes clear. We, this new group, join with other groups, becoming a tipping point that will lead this new earth into higher fields, higher planes of consciousness, of awareness. With the thinning of the veil, the least likely to become light workers, like me, find themselves not only becoming workers of light, but sometimes light leaders. Having a huge audience is not a prerequisite. An audience of one is enough because it is our energy that we carry and radiate that makes the difference. That light, that energy is the fabric the master weaver uses as we pull and lift strands to create our future. Lyrielle's first line about the path of weaving the seen and the unseen and grounding cosmic truths into the earth plane is significant. As we embrace that we are more than physical matter, we become empowered. We make changes at non-physical levels. And guess what? We discover the power of those changes because they set us on a new course in the 3D. We alter our master blueprint. We begin to converse with the puppet master, the chief architect, the master weaver, to change those 3D scenes that are troublesome. And then it hits us. Awareness. Oh, yes, awareness, that powerful foundation of mindfulness. That awareness almost knocks us off balance when suddenly we understand. We know. We realize we are the puppet master, the master weaver, the chief architect, inventing and weaving the threads of our lives 1 nanosecond at a time. We have pulled the threads of the unseen and have grounded cosmic truths into the seen world of the 3D. We have become empowered. We have become awareness. We've reached a good point to stop, so I want to thank you for joining me on this journey. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Remember the importance of smiling and being kind. Until next time, weave the tapestry of your life with those threads of wisdom from your angels and guides. Listen to them when they contact you. Until next time, goodbye.